Yo, this is Damage Per Second Podcast. That's DPS Podcast with one of your co-hosts here, SloMoBackSlap, with the other co-host, Game at Forte, and we are back on a Friday night, a Freaky Friday, or something like that. Anyway, episode 238, and I'm kind of glad. A little glad. Well, actually, I'm really glad that we didn't do the podcast on our usual night because I got to spend time with family. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. That's why we didn't go live yesterday. Shout out to her. And we had a good time, but also due to not going live yesterday, we got some additional information that we were definitely going to talk about tonight. So, what's up, Game at Forte?
What's going on, man? How you been?
Been pretty good. Hold on. Arcade says, is anyone else buffering? I will hope not. I don't have any drop frames, so I hope everything's good. Arcade, maybe refresh the stream if you're having some issues. My bad. Forte, go ahead.
No. I said everything's good, man. How you been? I mean, I know you had partying to go on yesterday.
Yeah. You know, I had a nice time with my mom. Spent time with family. Last weekend, saw some old friends I hadn't seen in a long time. We had a 90s hip hop party, and so I had to dress up like I was LL Cool J. That was the move or something. I was going to at least attempt that, and then I changed my mind and just dressed up like a random generic rapper. So
Random generic rapper.
Yeah, I couldn't find a Kango in an Adidas jumpsuit fast enough. So, but no. Other than that, man, I've been pretty good. I finally beat Dark Deity 2, and you know, I really enjoying the game. I still recommend the game if you're into strategy RPGs. I think you should give it a shot. I think it's a good one. That said, I am somewhat disappointed in how the story turned out in the end. So the main character, her name is Gwen, and she's like the leader of this strike force from an organization that they just call the organization the Order. I can't remember what the Order of is. It's just like, it's got a full name. Everyone just calls them the Order. So they're kind of like peacekeepers. They're like the UN. They're like the United Nations. They try to they have people from various different nationalities, but their job is to essentially be neutral and kind of keep the peace. But of course, you know, it's a story in a game, and ain't no peace being kept because it's like too many nations trying to do stuff. And it was intriguing to start out, and I enjoyed it, and I liked a lot of the twists and turns the story was going. But all throughout, I started to have like this really nagging feeling that Gwen, the main character, was a Mary Sue. And so when I say that Mary Sue, that the term, I know some people may get confused, but Mary Sue is like it's a poorly written character, essentially. It's a character where either the character is perfect and they don't make any mistakes, and somehow they're just like a genius at everything without any practice, any experience or skills to learn these things. They just know how to do it, like Rhea in Star Wars. What's her name? Rhea? Ray? What was her name?
Ray.
You're Ray. Yeah, like Ray. That character. That's a poorly written character because she's doing things that Luke took forever to learn, and she didn't even try. It's like, nah, it's just like, that's just not realistic. So like Gwen in this game is like that. She's like, in the beginning, she's just amazing at everything. But then she's the leader, and as I'm not going to get into spoilers, but as I get further in the game, she's like, oh, I'm so bad at this stuff. And everyone's like, no, you're doing great. She's not doing great. She's leading them into traps. She's making bad decisions. She's being fooled by every villain in the game. And I'm just like, no, she sucks. She's right. She's terrible. Like, someone else should be leader. Like, she's not. They're giving her credit for everything, and like other people are coming up with the strategies and stuff. She's like just lucking into getting them out of situations, and it's just that that's another aspect of a Mary Sue, where a character has to be perceived as if it's always a woman character because it's Mary Sue. There's a male version of it, but I forgot the name of it. But even when she's wrong and making mistakes, Marvin Kent. But even when she's wrong and making mistakes, people are just like, oh no, that's fine, it's perfect, it's okay. But like no one else would get that kind of leeway. So it's just, it really started that like wear on me. And then at the end of the game, it just really kind of fell apart story-wise. That said, I did think it was a good game. I really enjoy playing it. It's a nice little holdover for not having a new Fire Emblem right now, which we will definitely talk about a little more later on. But there's that. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. I'm kind of in a rut right now where I really don't want to play anything new. So like, I'm not really in the mood to try new games. I do have 100-line Defense Academy to play. I played like an hour and I still intend on finishing it, but I just don't feel like it. And I also played Wushang finally. So I played Wushang and I'm in like the first area, and I was just really just like, I don't feel like doing. I think I'm kind of burnt out on Souls-lights. Like I just don't feel like playing it. I don't feel like playing any Souls-lights. So as of right now, I've really been kind of like this over this past week, and I know I need to play the Borderlands games. To play through those, I'm so far behind at this point because it's August, and I haven't even finished the first game yet. That's on me. I will do that. I'm gonna stream all through those games. I'm gonna have to not have completely super fleshed out builds for all my characters, but I will play through those games before Borderlands 4. I promise. That's it. I don't really feel like playing new stuff right now. That's just kind of how I'm playing games. I'm playing like Fortnite, Blitz Royale, Cyberpunk. Maybe I'll try something new, but other than that, with Borderlands, that's really all I feel like playing at the moment. And I've been watching a lot of movies. Like I was working, and because I work from home, I have the perk to do this. I'm watching 28 Years Later while I'm working. Not as good as I thought it was going to be. I kind of felt like, I mean, it's not a bad movie, but I kind of felt like it could have been better. I kind of felt like, not to get into spoilers, but like the story. So if you watch 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, it's weeks, right? Yeah, 28 Weeks Later. Those two are completely separate stories, but there is a point to us watching the story unfold. In the first movie, it's about the outbreak and how it happened. In the second movie, it's about how the outbreak restarted again due to the events that happened. And this 28 years later, it's just a story. It's like it doesn't have any relevance to like the overarching like conflict between the rage virus and humanity. It's just a story. It doesn't really like connect to anything. There's no, I mean, maybe, and not to, like I said, not to get into spoilers, maybe one character might show up in another movie if they continue it on, but it's just, it was kind of real disconnected. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. I need to watch some more movies. I got some more movies to watch. It's just kind of like what I'm feeling like doing at the moment. Yeah. But I did see Superman, and I really thoroughly enjoyed Superman. Mr. Terrific was to not sound lame, but he was terrific. It was he really stole the show. I thought I thought James Gunn's take on Superman was well done. Probably better than Zack Snyder. Yeah, absolutely, definitely better than Zack Snyder's and the previous one they did before him. with like Superman Returns, and yeah, that was bad. So that was good. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but I'm probably gonna check it out in the next week. But other than that, man, what you been up to, bro?
Yeah, man, working as usual. Seems like that's all I do. But that played some Cyberpunk on my Switch 2, and surprisingly,
how far are you? How far are you in it?
I just got to. I did what is the one where you're doing it? The Nomad. So I did that. I'm doing that playthrough on there, and I just made it.
Oh, so you did the origin story?
Yes.
Okay, so Nomad Origin, you meet Jackie, you're at the checkpoint.
Yep, at the checkpoint.
And then, so how far did you get after that?
I only played a little bit, probably like hour and a half. I did it while I was doing it while I was at work. I just really wanted to see how it played on there. And surprisingly, it actually plays pretty well. Now, you know, when you look at that game on other platforms and you use like, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing to ourselves?
You're grading on a scale, essentially.
Oh yeah, you're on not even a scale. The biggest curve, like the curve that the Earth goes around when it goes around the sun. That's the curve you grade knowing. But no, it's really really cool. And I'm definitely, and especially with the whole cross, what's the name now? Which I did not know it had.
Cross save.
I didn't know it had that. So that actually, I ain't gonna lie, it's probably gonna make me play it more on my PC too, because I can play it. I can play it no matter where I'm at.
That works. Yeah. So to make sure that works, this is what you do. Log in on go to the CDPR Cyberpunk website, and then you log into your Nintendo account, and you log into you have Cyberpunk on Steam.
Yes, I have it on Steam.
So you log into your Steam and your Nintendo online account, and that will sync things up so that whenever your latest manual and autosave will be available to you on the on PC. I actually had to be careful because I was playing. I was playing the last time I played Cyberpunk. I played on PC, and I had one of my characters, and then I was in a different area of the house, and I just felt like playing. So I was playing Cyberpunk on Xbox because I got a character. I'm trying to get a specific achievement. I'm not going to tell you because it's going to be spoilers. Okay. And I'm working on a character to do that. I got this whole shotgun build I'm doing. And then I started playing the game. I was just like, I don't remember doing this yet.
Yeah.
And then I realized, because I had like just hit continue, and it put me in the PC playthrough I last did, because that's the last thing I had played was on Steam. And so it just kind of took that character and put it on Xbox, and I was like, man, I didn't mean to do this, so I had to kind of back it out. But
you had to back out.
Yeah, man. So how are you liking this so far?
I like it. It's cool. Like I said, I didn't want to die because I haven't played that much on PC and stuff, so I don't want it to be skewed off of like the first time I played it on a Switch 2, really. But I kind of want to. It did make me want to jump in on my PC and turn on everything and see like how I'm comparing it to everything else, because the game looks good even on a Switch 2. Now I played it in handheld mode, so I couldn't tell you how blurry that picture is going to look when you blow it up to 1080p or 1440p or not even 4K. So who knows?
Well, I don't know if it quite. I don't think it quite gets the 4K. I know they use DLSS. Well,
I'm just talking about the monitor, like the size of the screen. When you blow it up, it's gonna.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
It stretch it out to 4K, but that's something that I'm gonna look into seeing. But a little bit of that, I enjoy that. I'm about 7 hours into Hollow Knight.
Okay.
Started that again because I want to play that before. I wanted to go through it again before
Silksong comes out.
Yeah, Silksong comes out. So I forgot how relentless that game is. It's so relentless. Some of the stuff that happens in that game, it was like, this is the truth. I feel bad
because Luca begged me to play that game like
good,
earlier
bro.
this year, and I said, I'm a guy, I'm gonna play it, and I have it installed. I have it installed. That's about
Completely
it.
whiffed on it. But it's there for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's always there. You know, Hollow Knight. It's one of those games that's never gonna go away. So you definitely should jump in there and heed that woman's words and try some Hollow Knight out. It's definitely a great time, especially since you played Hades and stuff. I think you'll love it.
Yeah,
man. It's
I actually been thinking about getting back to Hades too, because I haven't played it in a little while, and Hades 2 is really good. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the first game.
Okay.
But it is very good, and I need to kind of get back in there. So Hollow Knight's a roguelite? That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love me some roguelites.
Oh no, you'll love it, bro. It's really good. I love that game. And then I mean, outside of that, just going back and forth, looking at a lot of different things. I jumped into some Battlefield. I was real close. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I didn't get home until late yesterday, I would have streamed, because I was really thinking about streaming some Battlefield, because me and my brother jumped on Battlefield 2042 and played about an hour and a half on there.
Okay.
But yeah,
last night?
Yeah, just last night. That's
Were you
when
rusty?
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Dude,
I felt like
I have not played. I could probably count on my one hand the number of times I've played a first-person shooter in the past since late April, because it all started with Expedition 33, and I almost need to kind of blame the game now, because it was so good that like I just don't want to blame. I just kind of don't want to play anything else. But I feel like I've played Splitgate like 3 times, like three different sessions of Splitgate 2, and I played Call of Duty twice since technically May.
Dang.
And it's August. It's pretty bad, man. Pretty bad.
You was having fun, bro. That's all it is. It's nothing wrong with playing, a game that's a game of the year contender.
Yeah, I just kind of, I feel like I need to get RPGs out of my system or something. I probably would never get RPGs out of my system.
No,
but like,
you never will.
Just kind of like right now, that's all I really feel like playing.
No, I get it.
So that's why I'm all, doing different things in Cyberpunk, because it's got kind of like that build diversity aspect of it. That's great. And like the footage I had on the Jumbotron of Expedition 33, I recorded that like a week ago, I think. I'm on like new game +4.
Oh, Jesus.
So like, yeah, and I'm still, they put in this multiplier now where you can bump up the health of the enemies and then cap your damage a certain degree.
Nerf
and
yourself.
So the kind of, basically nerf yourself essentially, because the game can, like, you can make your character so broken, like, in order to kind of like rebalance the way the game should be played, where you need to know how to parry in order to survive and learn the enemy attack combinations and stuff. Like, in order to do that, you really kind of need to know how to parry. But like, once you get to end game, you don't need to know how to parry no more.
Right. Because
the way you could set your build, like, you can just kill everybody, literally everyone in the game, before they can even attack you. So I've put in, I didn't put in the damage cap, but I did put in the multiplier for the health for the enemies. And so I've done +10. Then I think it's +50. Essentially at that point, you're doing a ton of damage, but you're not doing enough damage that, like, you're just killing them on the first round.
Right.
So they do get a chance to attack, and then you do have to actually parry. So that's been cool. Although I think my builds are just like, stopped playing for a while, and then I forgot some of the things I was doing. And I think I got a pretty much a team set up where I actually speed my team up and slow the enemies down. So even then, it's just like, even after I get my first round, I got a second round before the enemy gets to attack. And it's just like, I mean, how do I nerf myself even more to make this a competition?
I love how we trying to nerf ourselves out here. So it ain't working for us.
Right, but my bad. You were saying about 2042. So you and your brother were playing. You doing the massive maps with all the vehicles that I can't stand.
Oh yeah. We did a couple of games. Like, I mean, you can only do like 2 or 3 of those before you're 3 hours in. It feels like. So we did one conquest, and then we did a bunch of we did a rush one, and then we did a couple of the smaller domination maps and stuff. So that was cool. But yeah, it's wild when you get into those huge battlefields and see all the stuff that's happening, and then you start thinking of the possibilities of everything you could do in Battlefield 6, and I'm sitting like, yo, this is, man, it's wild. I cannot freaking wait.
What you can't wait on is saying more about that, because we got.
Oh no, that's why I stopped.
Yeah,
I stopped.
Anything else?
No, that's
get
it.
into before we.
No, man, that's it. We got everything.
Well, I would say let's go ahead and just get into these rapid fire topics. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Oh, really? Oh, really? Yeah, so WB Games, Montreal studio to be exact, is making another DC Comics live service game. This is the same studio that made Gotham Knights. And this is off the heels of the failure of Suicide Squad, that was not made by them, but made by their sister studio, Rocksteady. But this has been revealed through a job listing that for the Montreal studio, where they're looking for someone to help them on their next project. And it does suggest that this project is live service. So, WB Games, it still is forcing studios that are not suited for live service development to do live service games. Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
They are trying so desperately hard to find relevancy inside of the live service sphere, even knowing everything they have tried has. The thing is, I won't even say it failed. I also
no, you're right.
Name
one live service game that they've created that has worked.
Well, when I mean fail, because part of the live service things, I just don't think they actually really give it a chance to get to that point. Because the thing about, if you think about live service, like think about, now Fortnite was one of the first ones, but Fortnite wasn't even Fortnite until they got to where they are now. And then it was iteration upon iteration upon iteration, and a lot of money behind it to get it to where it is now. Like, I feel like they kind of persevered, and once they finally caught on, it just took off from there. And then they just converted their whole company and the whole studio over to just working on Fortnite. And kind of the same thing happened with Call of Duty. When you think about Warzone wasn't it? Call of Duty, the arena mode was the more popular thing, running around the maps and smaller maps and having fast gameplay. And then, Call of Duty stepped into the ring in that. And then at first it wasn't the greatest. It picked up, and more people started playing that. Then we kind of got there. So I do think it takes a lot of money to do it. WB is not in the situation where they
it also takes patience.
That's what I'm saying. It takes a lot of patience.
You use Fortnite as an example. Fortnite first launched with Save the World, which was not Battle Royale. And it wasn't until PUBG did Battle Royale and was successful, that Epic decided to do their take on that with Fortnite. And then, you know, the rest is history. But, you know, it took two things there. It took the balls to pivot when you realize you need to pivot because the game wasn't being as successful as you hoped it would be. And then it takes the money to do that, because you can't just decide to just create a whole nother mode within the game and then have that ready in like a year.
No.
And do that with like little resources or little money invested. Like that took a lot. And I think that WB doesn't really have that. Like WB hasn't pivoted really at all in any way at post-launch to kind of help these games survive. Like, and I'm not even saying they were bad games. Like Gotham Knights actually is a pretty good game. It's just they really screwed themselves by not having a performance mode on consoles.
Yep.
They also screwed themselves when they tried to hide the fact there was no performance mode, which just really highlighted that, you know, you didn't have it and kind of made it a big talking point among hardcore gamers. And then it launched broken, and then it got fixed eventually. But you get, like, all these things were problematic. And then when you play the game, solid game, like I said, solid game, really good story. But the issue with Gotham Knight was that you could see the elements that were supposed to be live service littered all throughout the game. You would have like all these materials that you were gathering, and there was no need for any of them really. Like it was like kind of like a looter, and but you didn't need to do any looting. It was just really unnecessary stuff that it seems like were holdovers from a previous focus. And after they had rescoped the game to do something different, these things still remained. And just, you got Suicide Squad, which just utter failure commercially. I didn't like the game, but there were people who enjoyed playing it. I think they thought the gameplay loop was too redundant, generic, and very generic. But it's just, this is what happens. I feel like they've learned no lessons from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics trying to force a studio that's not like their skill, their culture and skill sets aren't about doing these kind of games. They're trying to like forcing them into doing that without actually giving them the resources to make it work. Without giving bringing in people who are already familiar and successfully launched those kind of games to kind of help guide talented people to get that done. And then they really learned no lessons from that, because a lot of the old Rocksteady devs that made the Batman Arkham games that people loved really aren't really there no more.
Right.
So I don't know, maybe
just chasing an idea at this point, like instead of executing and, like you said, being patient. And that's the reason I talked about, you know, the two bigger ones, is because they were patient with it, and they were willing to like say, if this is gonna fail, it's not gonna fail because we didn't try. A lot of these live services, I feel like they come in with a half-baked idea, and then they expect us, the consumer, to support that half-baked idea. And that's not going to fly when you have established IPs out here that people grew up with at this point. Like, people grew up with Fortnite at this point, kind of. You know, people have been playing Call of Duty, you know, since, you know, if you want to just go modern, since 2007. If we want to do just modern Call of Duty, you know, so there have been kids born and grown up in literally of college now almost that started with Call of Duty. So it's like, you know, you reap what you sow on both sides of that. And I feel like the direction and hunger for wanting to survive in this place that requires patience, requires requires ingenuity. It requires, being able to think outside the box. And also on top of that, consistently figuring out what you need to do to keep your player base engaged. It just isn't something that they're good at. And even if you think about the games that they released over the course of, the last decade, when I think of Warner Brothers, I think of Batman, the Arkham series in the beginning. And then if I really want to think about it, the one thing that we know them the most for outside of Batman and like Injustice and stuff, and that's because they own Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat's I'm not even really including Mortal Kombat because that's a studio off by itself. But Mortal Kombat 2, but the Nemesis system in Lord of the Rings. That's literally what you think about it. That's the last time
Hogwarts Legacy.
Exactly, in Hogwarts, which is an IP. So Hogwarts.
Well, I mean, they're all licensed IPs.
Well, they're all licensed, but Hogwarts is something that they built.
What is the thing that all three of those games we just mentioned have in common? They're single-player games.
They're single-player games, and they have a huge following.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that they, like I said, the last time I felt like they innovated was with not saying that, Harry, like Hogwarts wasn't innovation. I think what they did, they finally brought the magic of like Harry Potter and Hogwarts to video games. It is the best adaptation that they ever done in that. And then just the name alone helped catapult it into a sphere that people enjoyed. But if you just think about the innovative side of it, they haven't done anything like truly to like push the industry forward since Lord of the Rings with the Nemesis system.
Yeah.
What have they done?
They're chasing trends, man.
And that's the problem.
And not looking at why the trends that they're chasing have failures.
Exactly.
Because they're literally doing exactly what all the other publishers who have failed doing the same thing. They're just doing the same exact thing they were doing without any like forethought on like, well, what has worked for other people and what has not worked for other people. There's a lesson in both. There's a lesson in, well, can we do what they did? Can we figure this out? Can we do something similar but have a different take on it so it doesn't look like we're just straight copying them? Or can we look at what failed here and make sure that we're not following in those same footsteps? It's just like they're just doing neither of those things. Right. So, and again, I hate seeing studios that have made their name making a particular kind of game be forced to make another kind of game that, and it's fine, and we've seen studios make that pivot, but those studios who made that pivot have been all in and got the right people in charge to make that transition, who really like put in a lot of work. Some of them created a whole second team, a second studio to work on those games, where the people that they hired for that team were experienced and successful in the kind of game that they're attempting to pivot to. And it's just like, you just don't see that with WB, right? Which is unfortunate. Anything else you want to say about this before we cool? Well, Forte, I want to show you something.
What do you want to show me?
I want you to look at the Jumbotron.
All right.
And I want you to tell me what game is on screen when you see it.
Oh. Let's see.
What game is this?
A lawsuit waiting to happen.
No, well, what
But
did
I know
you
what
do?
game. I know what game you want me to say. It's a game that bored the hell out of me in Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. But it's a game that's about to get. It's somebody that's about to get sued. But I know.
I was hoping you would
guess what? No,
say,
be quiet,
"Oh,
be
that's
quiet. No,
that's Horizon
this-
Zero Dawn."
Guess what? This is her. You know what? So this Horizon Zero Dawn on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh man.
I know what you wanted me to say.
Yeah. So look, man. Tencent think they sweet out here. Sony is suing Tencent for copyright and trademark infringement of their Horizon intellectual property. And when I say their Horizon intellectual property, I mean Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. We've got Horizon VR game. I forgot the name of it. They've got Lego Horizon and Call of the Mountain. Thank you. And then there's another Horizon game that is some kind of online focused Horizon game. I know one got canceled. It was like an MMO. I don't know what exactly. They haven't shown it. The one that's still in development, what exact genre that's supposed to be. But Sony's all in on their Horizon IP, despite regardless of how people feel, whether they love it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, at some point in time, Tencent wanted to work with Sony on making a version of Horizon, and Sony was like, "Nah, we good, man, we good." And so Tencent was like, "Well, we already got started, so we're just going to make a couple of changes here or there. When the armor turns blue, our turns red." Okay. It's like at Coming to America when it was like, they're McDonald's, we're McDowell's, they are just, literally the same kind of art direction. The machines are like almost exactly the same. The world environment, it's like a lot of that stuff, it can't be like, you can't
no coincidence,
say,
bro.
It's no coincidence, but some of this stuff can't be like, well, oh, you stole our trees, right? But it's an overall,
the aesthetic.
This aesthetic, right? It's too much that's the same. You got a woman main character who's redhead and looks just like Aloy, just a little skinnier. And then you got this group of people who have very specific cultural clothing that looks just like a lot of the people that's in Horizon Zero Dawn. You've got machines that are animal-like that have the same artistic aesthetic as Horizon does. You're literally, you copied them, bro. And not only that, the marketing is the same. If you look at because this Tencent game is called Light of Mothram, and you look at their promo, like big picture photo op thing, they literally copied the Horizon Zero Dawn version of that. Where Aloy, their Aloy, let's call her Phalloy. She's fake Aloy, Phalloy. So Phalloy is standing in the same position that Aloy is in the marketing. She's standing on a hill just like Aloy. You've got a valley and they have a machine, like a big machine dinosaur that's in the same position as the one that's in Zero Dawn. Everything is in the same position. The logo is in the same position as Horizon Zero Dawn's logo. It's just, you copied the homework, bro. Like you didn't even do it well, because you should have got a couple of answers different so that the teacher didn't figure out that you was copying. But nah, you copied it verbatim. Like you made it too too obvious. So, Forte, what are your thoughts on this? Now that we've seen this knockoff, let me actually show some actual Horizon Forbidden West gameplay.
Yes, put
so
something
that we
pretty
can
on the
see
screen.
we can see the real deal, Holyfield.
Yeah, because this ain't it, bro.
That difference in visual fidelity, good grief.
Ooh, look at that. That's called 4K right there, bro.
The imitation just does not compare.
Man. What
visually.
did they say?
And I'm
imitation is a form of flattery.
Yeah.
No, not
I'm
in this
not
case.
even a Horizon fan. I'm not even a Horizon fan. I generally do not like this game.
This game is boring and stupid.
Yeah, but that said, like, come on, Tencent. This is sad. This is sad, yo.
And Tencent was out here.
My bad,
bro.
Forte. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, man, it's very typical, and I was like, what is up with these companies thinking that they can just literally copy and almost paste situations and parts of people games and then thinking that, oh, they won't see this, sleight of hand. But you do realize that your game, in order to make money, has to come to market, right? Where everybody sees it. So, like, do you just think that Sony's not gonna say anything?
Right, especially after the whole Power World and Pokemon thing, and which I don't think Power World deserved to be sued by Nintendo.
I know why they did it.
I know why they did it too, because they're trying to protect the popularity of Pokemon. They didn't want Pokemon players to start playing Power World.
Well, too, but I also think it's part of the fact of even if they felt like they didn't have a case, they want people to know that if we even feel like you're infringing on Pokemon, we coming for it.
We're coming for you, right? So they try to make an example out of them. Yeah,
even if they felt, because in their minds, they say if they know that they really don't have a case to get money or damages from them, just flexing their muscle to tell people like, hey, even if we think you're doing this, we're coming for you. And that enough right there is to tell people like, yo, I'm not messing around with Nintendo. You see how people were when they started banning people for streaming their content and stuff, and you just realized nobody did it anymore. They was like, we're not going to do it because I don't want to deal with Nintendo. Until Nintendo came out with their creator club and you could sign up and do all that other stuff. But I just think at a certain point, like,
yeah, but that's it's like I actually think it's like almost a completely different situation than this, because what's the name of the company? I forgot the name of the company that made Power World, the dev, whatever their name is.
Yeah.
They didn't really, you could say that they're like similar games, but not completely.
No, completely.
And
you don't shoot things in Pokemon games.
Yeah, you also don't have you have kind of implied slavery, but not outright slavery.
I mean, listen, have you ever realized that Nintendo houses two of the biggest slavery games ever in Pokemon and in Pikmin? Pikmin, bro, you just
and they're both big, successful games, so that should tell you a lot about people.
Every time I think about Pikmin, bro, I'm like, man, Pikmin is the biggest of all time, bro. With the things you just throw Pikmin and murder Pikmin in that game. Oh man, it's so wild. But it's one of the biggest games that Nintendo has too.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder though how this will play out, how this court case will play out, because I think it may be pretty pivotal depending on what the verdict is, on how much more of like blatant knockoff stuff we see coming from Chinese developers in the future, and how much of it, because we've seen this before. We've seen where people make accusations of things before. Like I remember when Genshin Impact first came out, people were saying it was copying Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I remember that.
And it did have elements from Zelda Breath of the Wild, like the swimming and the climbing that were very, very much like, you can tell it was clearly inspired from Breath of the Wild when they did, but everything else combat wise was completely different. And now that the game is like super successful, no one says anything, because I mean, like, the people who play the game don't care if you think it's a Breath of the Wild clone. Shut up. As far as they're concerned, I'm gonna enjoy my game. But I think there have been a ton of accusations in the past of Chinese developers taking popular IP from different regions of the world, making their knockoff version of it, but no one really tended to. I don't think that the people that they were stealing the intellectual property of cared too much, because those games were insulated in China back then.
Right.
There were no, like, they weren't sold internationally, and the developers of those games could not sell their games in China, so it was just like, well, so what?
Right.
But now that China is opening their borders and they're like really aggressively creating content like Black Myth Wukong that is intended to be sold worldwide, now it's different. That a lot of that copying other people's ideas, straight up, no, not even attempting to hide it, that's not gonna fly when you selling this in the same market of the IP that you copied. So I kind of wonder how it's all gonna play out in the long run, because if Sony loses this, I could see a lot more Chinese developers doing these kind of things until somebody stops it. Anything else you wanted to say on that?
No, that's it. I think I agree 100%. I think it's kind of pivotal for Sony to like really see this through, because they are going to be the barometer on, you know, if somebody can get away with it like with Sony, then it's going to give other people reason to believe they can do it. Like, whereas with Nintendo, people's like, no, don't mess with Nintendo. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Yeah. Give me a second. All right. Next topic.
Oh, really?
And to continue on with PlayStation, PlayStation has expanded the China Hero project, now going into its fourth phase. Funny how Lost Soul Aside is just going to come out soon, and Lost Soul Aside was a game that was in the first phase of China Hero project.
Yeah.
But now they're on their fourth phase, and PlayStation has enlisted the help of major industry partners to support the participating studios in the China Hero project, which is kind of like signals Sony's, PlayStation in particular's deeper commitment in the Chinese region for game development. I think some of this, you know, with the back and forth with Tencent, it's not quite over yet. You know, Tencent and NetEase are big players in that market, and what PlayStation and to a smaller degree Epic Games, because they also support China Hero Project, are doing, they work with smaller developers who don't have the resources or the manpower or the money to kind of like make the vision of their projects make it to release, but they are been providing them the kind of resources to try to get that done. But now they're kind of going a step further. They're going to have Virtuous, that did the Oblivion remaster, is doing all the further content for Cyberpunk and other stuff. Virtuous is like a 2,000 developer studio that all they do is support work, really. But they're going to be working as a support developer for the China Hero Project teams. So no longer will we have to see like a Chinese developer that's like basically like 3 people trying to work on a game for a few years and build up a team. They can now be those 3 people or whatever their size was, and then work with Virtuous to kind of get their game out quicker. They're also working with a dev called Rich Tap that's going to help them with advanced haptic feedback integration. And then they're also working with PlayStation's own visual art studio to assist with UI and UX development and like implementing those things to give it like a bigger, like higher quality feel to them. So I think all that stuff is good. It's going to it will eventually end up being better quality games coming out of China Hero Project, which I'm not saying they were bad games. They've been hit or miss. But this would definitely like really kind of help them out. What are your thoughts on that, Forte?
I think you're saying they were bad.
No. So, some of them were, but some of them were good. You know, some of them were really good games. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's kind of a crapshoot when you got devs who it's like their first game,
right?
And they don't really have and I don't know how involved PlayStation and Epic have been in their development. I know Epic has been Epic's I would say support in this has been mostly technology, Unreal Engine, because all these games run on Unreal, and giving them technical support to help them kind of work with the engine, figure out how to make certain things work, or developing tools they may need to kind of help get their games ready. And the flip side of that is, you know, they get that revenue off of licensing the game engine, and there is typically like some kind of exclusive content or timed exclusive content for the Epic Game Store. And then we see how PlayStation gets from that. Typically these games are console exclusive for a time period of time, or for forever on PlayStation, not coming to Nintendo and Xbox. At least that's how it's been in the past. So we'll have to see how it goes. But like, what are your thoughts on them kind of investing more in that region?
No, I mean honestly, you have, like, right now you see a lot of the industry contracting itself because, you know, a lot of gamers or just individuals in general have found themselves pretty much sticking to like their comfort when it comes to the games they like to play, things that they been playing for a while, and then every once in a while they'll jump outside of that zone because a big game comes out that everybody's talking about. See Clear Obscure, see Elden Ring, see games, you know, any of those type of games that's going to get people excited. That's outside of the big titles like Call of Duty every year, or even when like Grand Theft Auto, because the whole world will shut down, at least in the gaming sense, when Grand Theft Auto comes out. It's certain things that move the needle. And then, so seeing that they're willing to spread out and put a little bit more into it, invest more into it, shows that they actually are. I feel like they get it. They understand that it's not going to be this linear line that's going to get them to where they need to get to. They have to continually, you know, show that they're willing to put out good games, show that they are willing to support studios and smaller games to be able to get them out to as many people as possible. And then I think they'll get rewarded for it at some point in the future. It just really comes down to what's going to stick, because at some point we're going to get to a point where everybody is tired of the games that we're playing right now. Like, you already starting to see fatigue in a lot of genres, like, you know, like the fact that Call of Duty, stuff like that. Like, it's been a long, like, granted, Battlefield looks really good. I mean,
I was just talking about this earlier. about my fatigue with playing those kind of games, and I'm kind of just
and you're just going through the motion and stuff now. But then all it takes is a game that kind of comes, even if it's in the same genre, just comes with a fresh, you know, fresh take, or just something that looks different, or something that excites you more. And that's all it really takes to move people. So I like the fact that they're still investing in that, and they're willing to keep trying and keep taking their shot, because, you know, the famous line by Jordan, I miss every shot I don't take. And if you don't take a shot, how do you ever think you're going to hit anything? So that's kind of what I think this is at this point. And I think, honestly, it's for the best. And I think a lot of other publishers, developers, just platform holders in general should really think like that. I'm not saying jump out the window like Sony did when they tried to do 12, 13 live service games and they announced it all at one time. I'm like, as soon as they said that, a lot of us was like, bro, can you make one? What we need 12 of them for? Like, you don't even, I mean, I understand you want to spin them up, but you don't have to like put that type of pressure out there to people.
What that is when you decide to approve and green light that many projects, you're not necessarily thinking like, okay, I really believe all these projects will be successful.
Yeah.
You're kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and like, hopefully if one of these turns into a big mega hit, it made it all worthwhile. We'll get all the money back off all the failed ones. And technically kind of, I mean, it did kind of work out that way because Helldivers 2 is successful and continues to be successful and has a stable player base and considering how the game is played out, more than likely will be a game that people are playing for years to come. And now that's coming to Xbox. If it's at all possible to run it on a Nintendo Switch too, they probably will go put it there too. That game is likely that it's not likely. It is a success and it's likely going to be around for a while, like some of these other successful live service games. That said, I don't think the strategy was a good one.
No, not at all.
You just can't just approve like it is obvious that it wasn't successful or a good strategy because you canceled the majority of those games.
Right.
And I know they're not going to stop doing that because I don't know if everyone has seen this, but when they did their last earnings call back in June, they showed a graphic where they were showing how 53%, and for the past 3 years, it has been 53%, 51%, and then again 53% for the last fiscal year, where just 12 games and like 2 services, like which is Ubisoft Plus or Ubisoft Play Classics, whatever it's called on consoles, and EA Play have been the primary revenue drivers for the PlayStation platform. The other 12,000 plus games that are on PlayStation make up the other 47%.
Right.
And so when none of these games, so the games that were like, let me try to find what it was, because it was like, I need to find, I'm look for the list of games that it was. It was definitely Call of Duty. Where? I had it saved. You know what? Here we go. EA Sports, all the EA Sports suite of games. So this is probably more than 12, but like, like EA FC football, EA college football, Madden, those games are part of it. Roblox, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, EA Play, like I said, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Actually, they split out EA College Football separately because it did so well last year. Grand Theft Auto 5 online, essentially, and Ubisoft Plus Classics. Those are 53% of the entire PlayStation revenue for the PlayStation Store.
Yep.
And then the other 12,000 games, which are their games, or their games in addition to all the other third-party stuff, is the other 47%. None of those games I listed or those services are services that they create.
Nope.
So so I know there are a lot of PlayStation fans that are just like, they hate the focus on live service. They hate the direction that they're going, but like that's the direction the industry's going, and they have no choice. When you're talking to your shareholders and they want to know how you're growing their investment, they've invested in the company, they want to know how their piece of the pie is getting bigger. You can't say, hey, well, like all them other studios and publishers that we allow on our store, they doing great. Hopefully they do better so we get even more money. That's not going to work for them. You need to start making content that you see driving the majority of the revenue on your own platform, so that you get, instead of you getting 30% of that, you're getting 100% of that money. And that's going to continue to be their focus. Are you like taping something?
No, I was moving something.
Oh, it sounded like you were taping something up. I'm like, what is it? No, I mean that's going to be their focus. And so, although they're still making single player content, like this Intergalactic, there's Yotai coming later this year, Death Stranding 2, they published that just came out. They're going to still continue to keep doing that stuff, but it's not going to be the only stuff. And you're going to see less of those kind of games because those games are expensive to make. Spider-Man 2 was what, 300 million?
Yep.
$300 million to make that game.
That was a lot.
I'm sure they made their money back, but imagine if you could have. I think they look at it like, imagine, and when I say they, I'm talking about current leadership now, like Hiroki Satoki and I forgot the name of the guy that now runs SIE, but these guys are in charge now, and they're probably thinking like, how many live service projects could we have funded with that money?
Mm-hmm.
Or imagine if we could have did this a more efficient, cheaper version of Spider-Man 2 and then funded some other projects with that, So I just kind of I look at those things and it just I'm not saying you gotta agree with it, but it makes sense to me that they're making that kind of focus. Anything else you want to say?
No, man.
About
nope. That's kind of how I was thinking about it when you just said it.
Cool. All right, let's get into our first main topic here. I know you can't wait for this.
Let's go.
Battlefield 6 has some gameplay revealed today. And a couple of things I'll say, get out the way, some information on it before Forte just starts gushing over there. There's supposed to be 2 open beta weekends coming up. One's going to be on next weekend, August 9th and 10th. And then also on August 14th and the 17th. With early access for people who are in the Battlefield Labs already for August 7th and 8th. And if you may be able to attain a key to get into that through watching other people who are already in it, who are streaming the game live on Twitch. So if you're trying to get a key, that might be a way to get one if you're trying to participate earlier. And there was some reports earlier that we also discussed where the game's supposed to be $80 for the standard edition. EA has confirmed that there's no price increase to $80. It's going to be $70 for the standard edition, which is smart on their part. You're not GTA. Don't do that to yourself. You're not. You don't have the popularity.
It'll still be $100 for the higher version. That's the version I'm buying.
Yeah, but the standard version being $80. Like, you're not Call of Duty, and don't follow COD down those lines. You don't want to give people reasons to not give you a shot. So all that said, I think the gameplay looks all right. I'm not the biggest Battlefield guy, but I'm gonna play it because I like shooters. Forte, what are your thoughts on this, man?
You said it looked all right.
Look,
what looks good to you? What looks good to you? What? Answer, please. I need to know. You said, I don't know if you were just saying it just because you're tired and you're sleepy and all this other stuff. You said it looked all right. Like it was okay.
Well, look, the majority, half of this gameplay that I got is a dude in a tank. You know how I feel about vehicles.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
So that's why I say it looks all right. When he got out of the tank, I was like, all right, bet. but in the tank.
Okay, well,
I was falling asleep. I'm like I'm just trying to keep
why
it
did you
together.
pick gameplay of a person in the tank?
I picked the first gameplay I could find.
You should have went to the. You should have went to the.
No.
You should have went to the live
Hold
stream
on.
and just literally played the live stream.
Don't tell me what I should have did. What you should have did. You said you was going to send me gameplay, and you ain't send me anything.
No,
like you always say you're going to do something and you don't do it. So don't tell me what I should have did. Don't tell me which gameplay I should have seen. If you wanted me to watch some the greatest gameplay that you had seen already, maybe you should have sent that to me instead of not doing what you said you was going to do for the 15th time.
This man could have went to EA's official website and pulled the strip and saw the gameplay.
Well,
very sterile over what is it? Sensitive gameplay, but still great gameplay.
Oh my gosh. Of course, Gregor's here slandering. Forte, this is a good thing. When SloMo likes a game a lot before launch, it's always a failure.
Oh, that's
not true. That's not true. I liked Expedition 33 a lot. That was not a failure.
Bro.
So
Battlefield is man, that gameplay. I was looking at that trailer and looking at the multiplayer reveal, and I was like, bro, I ain't felt this excited in a long time when it comes to a shooter. I was like, maybe since 2042. And you know the funny thing is, when I went back and like looked at the trailer, like the reveal trailers for 2042, even when I went back and looked at like Battlefield 4, like granted, it's damn near a decade. You know, Battlefield 4 was 2014 or 2013, and then 2042 was 3 years or 4 years ago. So I expect a level up when it comes to like just showing off the game. But it's like you can tell like the excitement. It's like Vince went in there. It's like our gameplay is like. Vince, I feel like he went to the marketing team and told the marketing team, like, the gameplay is going to sell the game itself. I need you guys to take it to another level with the overall way that you portray this game in just the marketing alone and the making of the trailer. Because I was like, yo, like all the way down to them, you know, being on the assault class and taking the ladder, like the step ladder that you can literally throw on the ground and put in a window and climb up like literally just a whole team can go up the ladder into the window. And then the clip of the dude busting through the door, like running through the wall, killing the two guys, going up the stairs and like sees the gunfight happening outside. That sounds
like amazing gameplay that you should have sent me.
Bro, that dude jumped out the window and went prone. It was on the ground. It's like you can see they took the good parts of Call of Duty. What is it called in Call of Duty? What is the motion engine called? What did they call it?
Omni Movement.
Yeah, Omni Movement. I forget what they call it in this because I just kind of overlooked it. But like you can see that they took that, but they made it seem like it makes sense. Like you know how you just see people running around in Call of Duty just doing Omni movement. Like what the heck are you doing? Like dolphin diving around corners and stuff. Like in this, and even in the trailer in Call of Duty, they show people just randomly just dolphin diving around corners and shooting people. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's not like a scenario where like in the type of game you would see it really happen in. It's like more of a fast-paced gameplay. In this, they literally show people doing it out, like they saw the person outside the window, like a whole team about to rush in, and the dude literally backed up and ran and jumped through the window and landed on his side and landed on the side and started shooting all the people from behind while he was doing the same thing they do in Call of Duty. I was like, bro, this is crazy. The fact that you can take a sledgehammer and break out the floor, like I don't even gotta wait. You know how you're sitting at the top of you're at the top of the stairs and you hear people coming slow-mo, but you gotta wait for them to come around the corner on the stairs. You know they there, but you gotta wait till they peek around the corner. You ain't gotta do that now. If you hear people underneath you and there's a room underneath you and you hear them, you can take a sledgehammer and just bust out the floor, and then you can start caving in on people and shooting people from above. It's like, dog, I was like, this is insane what I'm seeing. And guess what? There's going to be a level of cheese to it. I know it. But guess what? I love what they're doing. Dude, the fact that you can revive a person, and I forget what they call, I think they called it tactical revive, where you can revive a person now like you could in Battlefield now. But when you revive them, you can drag like they want you to actually drag the person out of gunfire. So when you revive them, you pick them up and you pull them. So you're exposed while you're doing it. But when you revive them, it gives the person the chance to pick their gun up and they can shoot while you're dragging them to safety. I'm like, so what?
I do like that. I was
like, yo, so I can revive you, and all I need you. So as soon as you get revived, it switches you to whatever gun you want, and while you're being pulled, it switches the camera angle, and you can shoot people that are coming after you while the other person is dragging you to safety. I was like, bro, this is what I'm talking about, and I think like Vince we trust, and every first-person shooter that man has made since Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 in 2006 or 7?
7.
Yeah, 2007, dog. They have been fantastic games when it came to like the mechanics and the shooting, and that was the biggest thing I was impressed with, or that I was looking forward to when I found out he was basically going to be taking over development and becoming the lead developer on the Battlefield franchise. And like the single player thing, I didn't expect that to be like as like good as I seen. I mean, of course we still got to play it to see, but I expected this from the multiplayer, and even that kind of one upped it. It's just crazy how much stuff you'll be able to do in the game. The biggest thing for me is the balancing of it. They said in the streams that they put thousands and hundreds of thousands of hours into these different maps, and then how each map has a different choke, not a different choke point, but different play styles that you have to do. More like certain parts of a map is like super close combat and stuff. Other parts, cypher heavens and stuff with long sight lines and stuff. So they kind of make it so you feel like no matter where you are in a map, there's a different way to like kind of attack that objective. And I think that's kind of what people need right now, because in my mind, I feel like that fast pace, just gameplay where you're just sitting there like, okay, I'm just going to run around this corner and I'm not caring about what I see. I'm just going to shoot and shoot first. And the fact that they add Portal is still alive and well. And if you didn't watch the stream on it, they showed really, really good like samples of how you can create your own user maps and stuff. You can change, like, just think about like how Halo was when it came to Forge, but just an even more refined version of that. And just in the Battlefield universe where you can like do pretty much anything you want, like you could in 2042, but I think it's going to be even more deeper in this game. I'm just excited, bro. It comes out October 10th. I'm going to be in there. I'm there day one. I buy every Battlefield. Buy the $100 version. I already pre-ordered that version, but I'm looking forward to it, man. And I know you're gonna jump in there with me and play it too. And guess what? The only thing I think you'll hate is they do have simplified controls for the vehicles, because they want the vehicles to be more approachable. But the skill level in order to like do like the crazy maneuvers and stuff that you can do, that you see people doing in like videos and stuff, that will still take a little bit of expertise and just learning how the vehicles work. But the vehicle gameplay in general is going to be a lot more fluent, a lot more easier to control. So you will see people in vehicles more, I think, when it comes to those maps. But I also like the fact that they're going back to a class-based system where it isn't a situation where I can, use every gun for any character on the map. Now you have to, if you're having issues with vehicles, you need to bust out, you need an engineer. and your engineer will take care of that stuff. If you're having situations when it comes to like, you know, infantry overflanking you, or you need sniping from a long distance, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get the scout class. So I like the fact that they're bringing that back, where it's only a few guns that cross between all of the different classes. Like if you like assault rifles, guess what? You're running the assault class. If you want to use LMGs, you're using the engine. So I like that they're finally bringing that back, and they're kind of ditching. I never didn't like the specialist classes. I just didn't like the fact that they allowed the specialist classes, on top of them having their overpowered abilities that they had. I didn't like the fact that you can use any weapon from it. You could use any weapon that you wanted to use, and that was like kind of the only thing that I kind of felt like I wanted them to go back on, and it looks like they did that. But that's what I thought, man. So outside of that, SloMo, what are you thinking, man? You think Call of Duty? People kept saying Call of Duty, like, what is Call of Duty going to do? Me, I kind of think that too. So where are you at with it?
Call of Duty's going to do what Call of Duty does
Call of
every
Duty's
year.
going to do every year, right?
I think now Activision has them in kind of a cadence where you get one main release, and then you get like a mini release of that the next year, and then they have another main release from a different Call of Duty sub IP the year after that. So like we had Modern Warfare 2, then Modern Warfare 3, now Black Ops 6, which is the current latest one right now, and then Black Ops 7. So I kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit of an evolution of what they already did with Black Ops 6, which gameplay wise, I'm fine with it. I thought the guns in Call of Duty weren't the best, and the maps were kind of bad, and the kind of the live service aspect of things to kind of keep you like really engaged with like different skins and different like, you know, like collaborations was the weakest they've done in probably about 2 or 3 years. And I think they really kind of need to shore those things up, in addition to whatever they need to do to get a lot of the people who typically play Warzone to come back to play Warzone. I feel like they lost a lot of those people to Marvel Rivals. And I thought I figured they thought like, no big deal, let them go play Rivals for a while and they'll come back to this, but they haven't come. Those people haven't come back. So I don't know if this means like Battlefield 6 is going to be a true contender to Call of Duty. I think that, and I've said this before, that like there are a lot of like casual shooter fans who just think like it's all the same, and they think that like Battlefield is like a direct competitor to Call of Duty, and it is a competitor, but the reason why people enjoy Battlefield is different for the reasons why people enjoy Call of Duty. And I don't think either IP attempting to do what the other does serves them well, because they end up not doing it as well as the other IP.
Right.
And then they end up upsetting their core fans, which I'm not saying don't try new things. Absolutely try new things. But don't try to copy your competitor, because that just ends up like the Division 2 trying to copy Destiny instead of doing what made people love Division 1. You know, it's a kind of like a similar idea there. So all that said, I'm going to play Battlefield 6. How much I play on my own will be determined by how much I'm really enjoying it.
Depends on how
otherwise I'm playing it. Yeah, otherwise I'm playing it with you and anyone else that wants to play. I'm willing to be a part of the squad. You know, you just tell me where to go and who to shoot, and I'm shooting. You know, if the gunplay is really solid and not a complete mess at launch the way 2042 was, with hit detection off, and I feel like every other time I loaded 2042 up, I had to keep changing like the controller settings, because it just seemed like from session to session the controls have changed somehow, and I'm like I gotta like readjust things again, and it's just like that became annoying. If that's not a problem, I got no issues with it. But I think it all comes down to making sure that at launch it is a polished quality experience, and if they do that, they'll be pretty successful.
I agree with that. I agree.
All right, anything else you want to say about this?
October 10th, baby. That's it. You already know where I'm going to be at. Ain't even a joke.
We don't have a date for Call of Duty yet, right?
Nope. It's probably going to be it's usually either the last week of October.
They're probably going to announce that.
Or first week of November.
I said they're probably going to announce it at Gamescom this month. They'll probably announce Call of Duty's release date.
Yeah, because they haven't even talked about the beta or anything yet, which is crazy. And we're in. August just started, so they got time.
Alrighty. Well, next topic up is about Nintendo. And they have a Nintendo Partner Direct this week, which I did fall asleep on. And I had to rewatch it again. And then I fell asleep again. And I had to rewatch it a third time. Just the back half. I didn't try to start from the beginning because I had learned my lesson. And so if you haven't figured it out, I thought it was pretty daggone boring. I thought it was just full of a lot of third-party games that were already released from other on other platforms but couldn't go to the Switch One because it wasn't
that's all it was
powerful enough for it. And so that, like, you got Persona 3 Reload, you have Madden, now has returned to the Switch platform, and you got Apex Legends coming to Switch. Apex Legends has been out for how many years now? Star Wars Outlaws is almost a year old. That's coming out. And then you did get the Yakuza Kiwami,
yeah.
Kiwami, whatever you want to Quasi, Kazuki, whatever the freak the name is. These two Yakuza games that have already been out are coming there. And then you had like announcements like Bloober Team's Chronos: The New Dawn is coming, as well as Borderlands 4. So Nintendo's going to start enjoying more of the releases of games, their big third-party games that people are looking for at launch. They did talk about Monster Hunter Stories 3, and then they also had at the end, the only thing that I really found interesting, honestly, throughout the entire show was the 2 Square Enix games, kind of like a top-down HD 2D action RPG with the Adventures of Elliot, and Octopath Traveler 0, which is supposed to be a prequel to Octopath Traveler 1. I thought those were interesting, but it looks like I don't know about Elliot, but I know for certain Octopath Traveler 0 is a multi-platform game, so I won't be like needing to get a Switch 2 for that, but we'll discuss me needing a Switch 2 a little bit later. But Forte, what were your thoughts on the show, man?
That show was boring as hell. I was watching it in passing while I was at work, and I was like, yeah, this isn't it. I said, as soon as I saw that it was a partner direct, I was like, I'm kind of out on this. It's like, can you please tell me when Metroid Prime is coming out? Can you please tell me if there's a Mario game coming out this holiday? Can you please tell me more information about? Well, they already told me a lot of information about Legend ZA, but I want to know more information about Legend ZA because I'm thoroughly excited to play that. But in general, I mean, it's Nintendo doing what they always do. They do their big showcases for their games, and then they do their partner directs. And I give them credit because they do more partner directs than anybody else. Like, they consistently will give stages to third party and second party developers to like showcase their new games. They're not, even if they're not new games, they're older games coming over. If they would have announced college football for the Switch, I would have bought it. Like I told you, I didn't buy it. I still haven't bought it yet. I would buy it on the Switch mostly just to play the single player stuff. I wouldn't even play Ultimate Team on that. I would just play single player Switch, because I think doing recruiting and stuff on the road will be cool, but that's not available on the Switch 2 yet for some reason, but Madden is, which kind of makes me feel like Madden is still last generation's Madden, but they're just making it so you can only play it on the new generation. Because if that was the case, you would think both of them would be over there. Maybe next year's will be, who knows? But for the most part, I just think it was more of the same and just getting people excited for games that, you know, and this is what I think developers are banking on. Like for me, like the reason I bought Cyberpunk, it's not because I want to play Cyberpunk on the Switch 2, it's because it makes it easier to play that game when I'm not at home, and I feel like I'll play it more, and then it will kind of like I said earlier, kind of get me to go over to my PC because of the cross save and be able to like pick up on my PC. And if I get to a part that's super exciting that I want to go to bed, but I work all day tomorrow, I could take my Switch to work with me and log in, and I could do that part on my Switch too, and on my lunch break or something. And I feel like it's a very, very easy transition. And you could do it, and you can do that with more than just a Switch 2. I mean, Switch 2 is just one of the prevalent things that we're talking about with Nintendo. You could do it with a Steam Deck. You could do it with all these different other, you know, Lenovo Goes or any other project. I mean, any other, you know, console handheld that's out there in the market. But I think a lot of developers are kind of banking on that. Like, you know, people that's buying Madden, like I could play Madden on the go. I think, you know, that's not really.
But do you want to?
No, I don't want to play Madden at all. But it's the fact that
but let's say you're a big Madden player. Do you want to play that kind of like? Here's the thing, right? And I this is kind of how I use my Steam Deck OLED. There's only certain games I'm willing to play on that, like Showgunners, which is a like an XCOM kind of game. Yeah. Top down isometric view. Yeah, I'm cool with that. You know, it's a lot of strategy and moving certain spots and trying to hope your 93% hit shot doesn't miss like 80% of the time, like it somehow always does. Like that kind of experience. Dark Deity 2, which is a strategy RPG, I was playing that on my Steam Deck OLED. Probably for like half the 50 hours it took me to beat the game. But when I try to play Cyberpunk on there, I just can't do it. Even when I switch it to GeForce Now and play with GeForce Now, it's just that little screen. It's something about that just kind of, I can't do it. And then
I'm with you.
So when I do eventually get a Switch 2, I'm probably not going to play Cyberpunk on there. I'm not saying I won't for certain. Maybe I'll get it just to see what it's like. But I'm probably like there's certain games where I want a more, like my PC is a high-end PC. I want to play certain games where I'm getting the best visual fidelity possible, or at the very least on like a console that I can actually handle, like a PS5 or Xbox Series X, I can actually handle, you know, a little bit more than what a handheld experience is going to do. For me, it's just, I can't. So like what I said was the two compelling games that I thought I really enjoyed from this show. The only two games that I really cared about everything I saw: Adventures of Elliot, Octopath Traveler 0.
Right.
Because those are the kind of games I would play in that kind of, you know, like it's like old school RPGs, you know, 2D HD RPG, action RPG. Yeah, like I'm cool with that. I'm cool with playing that here. It's just, that's it. I'm not trying to really, like I even, while I was on vacation with my Steam Deck OLED, I started playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And I'm playing Mass Effect 1. And it runs really well natively. Runs really well on the Steam Deck. I maybe played like 30, 40 minutes while I was on vacation. Which, I mean, I didn't have a ton of time, but I wasn't compelled to play longer. And it's likely just due to small screen.
Probably so.
Which is why, like, on my Switch, 90% of the time when I played it docked, instead of handheld. So that's just the kind of, preferences I have with that. But yeah, nothing they really showed. Was that today? Even was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
What was that? Yeah, nothing they really showed yesterday was super compelling. Like, oh well, forget Fire Emblem. I need to get a Switch 2 right now.
Right.
No, I'm good.
He said I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm with you on that, bro. Trust me.
But let's get into why I might end up having to get one anyway.
Why you might be forced into this decision.
Yeah, buddy, I'm not happy about this, but I am happy that due to the fact that we had to delay the show to today, this became one of the topics. So Nintendo has made an announcement that they are now raising the prices of the Nintendo Switch 1. Let me say that the Switch 1, not the Switch 2, at least not yet. Effective as of August 3rd, there will be price increases that go into play. Not quite certain what the actual number. I know me and Forte earlier today discussed what the actual increase is. But that Switch OLED looking like real close to like $400, if not over $400. That's and that's the most expensive Switch 1 that's out there right now. I know there are people out there who I don't know if they eat crayons and sniff gas fumes, but they somehow believe that the increases of this is not also kind of like created by tariffs. It is. Like when certain tariffs go into effect this week and then now Nintendo increases the price. Why do you think that is? It's not a coincidence. It's not a coinky dink. It's not a coincidence. Okay. That said, Nintendo's still trash for doing this. Just straight up. Yeah, you trash for
You just called them trash for doing something that they don't.
Yo, you ain't got past that on to the consumer.
What about Orange Man?
Oh, he big trash. He's a big pile of flabby, nasty trash.
Oh man, that's
like I don't know why heart disease has. Maybe you know what?
Oh,
I was about to say something.
Don't do it.
And I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Family friendly channel.
This is different. This is a different kind of show. It's a different kind of show. I was about to go back to the Scumcast. It was about to get real. Man, we about to have like 20 dislikes off of this. Anyway, so look, back to the topic. Tariffs do play a part of it. In it doesn't matter. I still think Nintendo is trash for doing this. This is 8-year-old hardware that you're charging the Switch OLED. You're going to be charging like $400 for. That's egregious. And I think the only reason, this is my opinion, this isn't like a certified fact, but the only reason why we don't see Switch 2 price increases yet, they did announce that the Switch 2 price is not going up at this time. The only reason why we didn't see that is that I think they have enough inventory in the country to kind of hold off on making that price increase for the Switch 2 at this time, whereas they don't have that much of the inventory for the Switch 1 to not deal with the increase. If they got bring in more inventory, more orders, and then bring them into country, then those new tariffs go into play. Now they're just passing that price increase on to you, and we will likely see that with the Switch 2. And so I got some decisions to make, because I'm not trying to spend a whole lot more money on something when Fire Emblem finally comes out and I'm like, yeah, I want to get a Switch 2. That's been my game plan from jump. Now I might have to go.
They done pissed in your Cheerios.
Right now, instead of buying Fire Emblem in a Switch 2 at $450, I'm gonna have to get Fire Emblem in a Switch 2 at like $550 or some crap like that. Like I'm not trying to spend $100 extra for no damn reason.
$630 with tax, baby.
So, Forte, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Oh man, the funny thing is, when you already own it, you don't even think about stuff like this. I was the funny thing is, since I've been heavily into Pokemon and I watch a lot of content creators for it, they've been talking about the tariffs on that for a couple of weeks now because, Japanese Pokemon cards are affected by it. They were talking about, how Japanese cards are a lot cheaper than the English versions due to, English being a more predominant version of the game, card game that sells. And they were talking about how people are going to kind of, hey, it's gonna be a rude awakening when you see. At first it was 25%, and then that got, over the course of the last week, Orange Man came to a conclusion where he lowered it to 15%, but which takes place today. And so with all that being said, being a person that owns a Switch 2 already and not having to worry about that is a great thing. It sucks for everybody that felt like, they wanted to wait until like the holiday or something like that. Now Switch 2 hasn't been affected yet. It hasn't went up yet, but I like how they said in their statement, or the statement that was put out by multiple different outlets, saying that the price of Switch 2 has not been affected as of yet.
Yeah.
As of
yet. Which means get ready.
It's coming at some point in the future. And shout out to Lord Addict IOP. I was talking to him. I called him. He was half asleep when I was talking to him. I said, bro, aren't you happy that you got your Switch 2? And he was like, oh, why? Why you ask? And I told him what was happening. And he tried to say the same thing that a lot of people are saying, like, I think Nintendo's going to eat that. I was like, huh? No, they're not, bro. He said, man. He said, no, bro, they got enough system. He's like, I said, bro, listen. I said, Nintendo released a lot of. I think that's what that was the whole purpose of why they delayed it. They wanted to make sure that they could like have a lot of systems in America at the time the tariffs went live, like 100% live. They wanted to make sure that they had a adequate supply out so they didn't have to raise the price. Because guess what would have happened?
I also think.
Go ahead.
I also think they diverted units from Japan.
Yep, I do too.
To America because they knew they needed to kind of get as many units in country. Because like, look, they this is the fastest selling console in history, and they still got inventory.
It still got inventory, right?
Like you
in my
could go
store
buy.
right now.
You could just buy one right now. They still got inventory. So that tells you that they definitely wanted to make sure that anyone that wanted to buy one at the price they intended it to be can buy it. Now
if you wait, I can't help you there.
Like me.
I can't help you
there.
Like
if you me, wait. Who are like, there's nothing that I want from this. This is nothing that I want. And now I got a choice. Do I wait for the games that I want to play?
Or you put that mug on the shelf.
And then pay more for no reason? Or do I end up just buying it and just kind of holding on to it? Actually, also, real quick, shout out the Clizzle of 420 in the chat. He had a question in regards to Battlefield. I wanted to just go ahead and answer that real quick before, because the super chats ain't working. We gotta get that fixed. And he had a question. He said he wanted to super chat it, but we don't have it there. So he says, what are our thoughts on the weapon sling gadget for assault? And he also wanted our thoughts on weapons open or closed to specific classes. I'll just say real quick, I think weapons being open or closed to specific classes is good because it situates the importance of that class. And if you want to, really use certain weapons, then you need to go ahead and use that class instead of mixing and matching weapons with certain with other classes. I think in other games that I've played, like Rogue Company, for example, I think that was a detriment to the game when almost every weapon was available to all the characters. I think that kind of detracted from the game. I feel the same about this. The weapon sling gadget, I didn't even see that, so I don't even know what to tell you. Forte, with your thoughts on that.
I'm still out on it, because I want to see how it actually works. Because I didn't watch the actual gameplay of it. I did see it in action, and that thing, I think a lot of people are going to be picking Assault just off that alone, if that works the way I think it's going to work. Because it does add another dynamic to the gameplay that other classes aren't going to be able to have. But I think it's pretty cool. I just want to see exactly what it's going to be like when you get a chance to play with it in game, which sooner or later we all will be, because that beta is coming.
Yeah, good.
That's pretty crazy.
Hope that answered your question, Clizzle. Sorry that was a bit late. Back to Nintendo and these pricing. So I feel we already saw the price hikes from PlayStation. We saw them from Xbox, and now we're seeing partially them from Nintendo. Do you think this is it as far as the increases of price? Two questions. Here's a two-parter. First part question: do you think this is it? That like we won't see any more price increases from here? And do you think if the tariffs go away, that the pricing will go down?
Not initially. So first, I do think, well, no, because I do think there will be more price increases because they haven't announced Switch 2 price increase yet.
I mean, beyond, okay, what I mean is that, like, let's, we both think that's going to happen. That's the foregone conclusion. So after Switch 2 price increase, do you think there's any more increases happening from there?
I don't think so. I would think, unless for some reason. Now I do know that there is going to be there's a hold on the 15% for, I forget how long it is, where they're negotiating to see if they can either lower it. But I also know with, our, leader of the free world, that could easily go back the other way. So if it's up to Nintendo and tariffs stay the way that they are for the foreseeable future throughout the rest of this year going into next year, I don't think that they'll raise prices. They did say, the thing is, the only thing that scares me about that, they did say select accessories and stuff, meaning not all accessories will be, but does that mean that at some point that accessories could be affected by that? I do think that that is the case, but I don't think that you'll see any major changes outside of what the tariffs and what they announced across all these consoles on the 3rd, because that's when all this stuff goes into effect for the things that they already announced is happening. Now, the big one, if the tariffs go down to like back to the normal 5% or whatever it was, or you just pay normal prices that you did before, will they change it back? I think they would. It just wouldn't be right away. They would not change. It would, like, say the tariffs, say they go back, they make a deal. We get to the holiday, tariffs are still 15%. Let's say November 1st or December 1st, they iron out a deal where, tariffs are eliminated. We're just paying regular duty taxes and stuff to pass, products and shipments across seas at borders, and you're just paying whatever your normal rate was before. That wouldn't change until next year.
Forte?
I don't think it would change until next year. But that's even if they went out on Nintendo once they get that money. Who knows? Go ahead. So I already know what you're gonna say.
If this price increase happens and they still selling at the same clip that they selling right now,
they ain't gonna change the price.
They ain't changing a damn thing. Keep the party going, baby. They're going to act like, we increased the price? Really? Drop the price? Really? To what exactly? What price did we have it at? I don't even remember. That's how they're going to act. If anyone brings it up, if anyone brings it up, they're gonna be like, next question, please, because they not dropping the price. Look, the only way they drop that price back down is if it really adversely affects sales. If they're selling great now, best selling console, to this, to this point in its life cycle ever. If that significantly drops, if the increasing of the prices to games and accessory increasingly like would decreases things significantly, you're gonna see them going, all right, man, let's take it back. We need to get back as quickly as possible. Recover these things. But if everything is great, people out here buying freaking Mario Kart World at $90. People out here buying Joy-Cons at $100. And it's A-okay. It's the new price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. We may have done it because we felt we needed to, even though we didn't have to. But now, there were no repercussions for that. So we just gonna keep it moving. Guarantee, I'm telling you, that is it. This is why I'm really kind of leaning on just going ahead and getting one. Cause I'm just like, this price may be 3 years from now. We be like, man, remember when the Switch 2 came out at $450? Man. That's gonna be the reaction.
Remember you could buy a Switch at $350 for it?
Right, but like, man, those were the days. Oh,
and then guess what? Like, it is no shade, but then companies that take trade-ins like GameStop or any other like third party that takes trade-ins, you think they gonna honor that old price that Nintendo had for a regular Switch? You think they go? I mean, we can tell you. I can already tell you the answer to that right now. When Microsoft raised the price of the Series S and X, GameStop raised the price of the used one too. So don't think you'll be able to get away with getting pre-owned hardware at a cheaper price. What this basically signals to me is, if you were thinking about buying a Switch, any Switch, before August 3rd, that Nintendo done pretty much put the flag in the air and told you dinner time, y'all need to do it now before August 3rd, before we announce what this real price gonna be. Because as soon as that happens, all these prices at all these retailers on new stuff, used stuff is gonna go up. And they even are talking about games, and they're talking about accessories too. So can you imagine? Dog, can you imagine how Joy-Cons right now for a Switch cost? Bro, Joy-Cons for a Switch 1 cost $79.99 brand new. Are you about to tell me that we put 15% tax?
Joy-Cons.
We gonna be
Joy-Cons
paying $90 for Joy-Cons?
That gets stick drift just by staring at them too hard. Like, I mean, $90 for that, where I can get a GameSir controller for $50, and it's better than an Xbox Elite controller.
So, yeah.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here, man?
I know what we doing here.
By the way, since I mentioned GameSir, I think they're the best controller makers in the world right now. I am a bit upset about my GameSir G7 Pro that I ordered in June that I still ain't got yet. It's a pre-order. Man, bro, they're pre-ordered it. They pushed the pre-order back a month, and then I got Best Buy, all like, they hit me with a update. They hit me with an update saying, "Oh, your controller should show up between July 29th and August 1st." And I look at the store listing, and it says release date August 22nd. So then I hit up Best Buy customer service, like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, oh, it was an error. I fixed it. You'll see it updated on your order status in 2 hours. I see no update.
I see.
And then now that wouldn't be a big deal if the update also didn't say, if you don't receive your product by August 10th, we're going to cancel the pre-order. The controller's new release date is the 22nd. So it's guaranteed I'm not getting it by the 10th. I'm like, what is, you gotta be. So I'm gonna have to hit up Best Buy again tomorrow, and I'm gonna have to put on the angry voice, which I don't feel like doing, but I will anyway. Maybe I pick up a Switch 2 while I'm there. I don't know. Game Logic says 8-bit do is king. I got my two most used controllers right now is the 8-bit do Ultimate 2, not 2C, not 2.4. Like those are really just the ultimate ones. The Ultimate 2 has TMR thumbsticks. It's fantastic. Software is a bit buggy, but it works great. But the other one I use for shooters is the GameSir Cyclone 2 Pro. That one is freaking fantastic. It's probably the best controller that I have right now. Yeah, those two are like the two best ones I have. But this G7 Pro, I've not heard a bad thing about it from the people that got one. But I'm just like, they were supposed to come out 2 weeks ago, and I'm still like, where's my controller at? And there's a one that's called like Shadow Ember, which is the one I ordered, and then there's a white one. I forgot the name of the white one. The white one seems to be not easily found because they're all sold out now, but it was easier to get than the Shadow Ember. I don't know anyone that's got a Shadow Ember, unfortunately. But I'm sorry, complete tangent here. My bad. No one cares about controllers as much as I do. So, by the way, all of these work on a Switch 2, by the way. Anyway, I see, there we go. I tied it into the topic. So, like I said, maybe I will pick one up. Maybe we'll be discussing next week that I'm the not so proud new owner of a Switch 2 because I didn't want to pay more money if I waited. But we'll have to see. Forte, are you the games that are coming out? Mm-hmm. So I know that like you play a lot of the games, and I know that people play a lot of games that like they already own other platforms, but they're played on the Switch because it's convenient. But outside of that, the games that are exclusive to the Switch, because the Nintendo still cares about exclusives, you know, unlike
yes, they
the
do.
Rest of,
they do.
Sony
the rest of the industry and Sony and Microsoft.
Right? So, the exclusive games. What are you looking forward to off of the Switch 2 for the rest of the year?
Metroid. When I finally get a date, it's coming out this year. Metroid, and then second.
I feel like we're gonna get that date soon. I feel like we're gonna get that date sometime this month. Yeah.
That's the only game.
What was the other one? You said Pokemon?
Pokemon ZA. That's the only other one. Those two games. Mostly Metroid.
I got no desire to play either one of those.
What have you ever liked Metroid?
No. Hey, so how about this? Brave Default. That's Switch 2 only, right?
It sure is, and I'm almost done with it, so I can't put that on my list because I already have it.
Okay, so if I end up getting one in the next week because of this nonsense, maybe I'll play that and try to, because like I said, I've been big on RPGs, so you know that would kind of fit.
Bravely Default is awesome, bro. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I was going to get it when I got one, but I just didn't find it. You know how like you may see a game, you're like, oh yeah, that looks cool, I want to play that, but I don't want to buy an entire
console for just
device just to play it. So instead, when I find something that I gotta play, then I'll get that then, because that's exactly how I ended up loving Fire Emblem Three Houses. I saw Fire Emblem and I was like, that looks dope, I want to play that, but I'm not buying a Switch for that. I ended up buying the Switch for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 because that was exclusive to the Switch. Played it, didn't enjoy it that much, thought it was okay, but it's like, now that I got it, and now I got a Switch, let me go play Fire Emblem, and then right. You know, so maybe that the same happened with Bravely Default, where I'm like, you know, this was worth it, you know, to a degree. But
to a degree,
I don't know. Anything else you want to say about this before we get up out of here, man?
No, let's go.
All right.
Listen, I will say this: Nintendo is doing God's work out here by making sure that we had all these systems available before the chaos happened. But y'all know, I mean, I don't expect billion-dollar companies to eat. You know, that's not how they stay billion-dollar companies, but it just sucks, man. It really does suck. But I behoove anybody, and this isn't me shilling for Nintendo or anything, or just trying to sell a console.
It does sound like some shilling, sir.
No, I'm just saying I don't want to shill because we're not doing that. Enough of that happens on IOP sometimes. Bro. Oh, I love the shill. The shilling over there is real, bro. You know what? Have you ever just listened to shit? Have you ever just listened to IOP?
said Dust Blood. Dust Blood is not necessarily that's not first party. That's just I don't even think that's going to be a full on exclusive. I don't think you can get From Software to do just a straight up only exclusive to one console forever anymore. But I think that's just timed for now, and I will get a Switch 2 if I don't have one. What my intention was, if Fire Emblem wasn't announced by the time Dust Blood was coming out, that I would get one for that. But that's not first party, and that's not this year. That's next year. So my bad. Go ahead.
No. I was saying, you know, so when talk about shilling and stuff, you know, the one thing I will say about IOP is we shield with good points and good information. That's what happens when you shield. You got to shield with make sure you got really good.
So you're saying it's quality shilling?
Oh, it's very quality. The shilling that happens on IOP is very, very of quality, and it's very thoughtful. And very, but let's be for real here, bro. Like, I be listening to King sometimes. I be dying.
I wish you could see my face right now.
I be dying listening to
quality
King.
shilling here, but we were doing quality shilling.
Listen. That's the one thing I will give quality. I will give credit where credit is due. Where the shilling does happen on that show, it is of quality, and people love it, and I love listening to it, and it's great. But for real though, if you are thinking about getting a console, buy one soon, man, because like just thinking about what Forte 50, and it may not even be the full 15%, you know, Nintendo might eat some of it, or other corporations might eat some of it. But I'm just thinking about how the Xbox handled it, man. Xbox jumped out the window before it even went live, and they started charging $600 for a Series X. Think about that. $600. It was a $500 console. It's $600 right now. $636 with tax. So they ain't even have to do it. This is because Microsoft has been on a like just-in-time kind of inventory system for a while now, since demand bottomed out. So they don't really they don't stock them. They don't keep a ton of inventory for Xbox Series consoles anymore. So as soon as a lot of this stuff started happening, they already needed to kind of make they blew through any available inventory pretty quickly. And not because things were selling, just because they ain't making them in large numbers to have a surplus to get through before you need to make a change. So I agree. But no, that's it, bro. Let's get out of here.
All right, what you got going on, Forte? When are you finally going to do your Death Stranding third stream
actually,
that you owe everyone? That you said you were going to do last weekend, but you didn't do. Don't tell me to shut up. You shut up. You shut up. You liar. You's a liar.
SloMo, what are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You keep lying to the community. You keep saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then you don't do nothing. People are sick of it.
You sound hurt right now.
I'm not. I'm just really playing it up. But they sick of it. They sick of it. They can't.
I freaking love you, bro. You know what? That is fair. Let's do Wednesday, because I got inventory on Tuesday. Wednesday I will stream that Wednesday. Matter of fact, just so.
What about tomorrow or Sunday?
Well, IOP on Sunday. I work tomorrow. You know, okay. What time do I get off work tomorrow? 6 o'clock? Am I doing anything? I gotta pick up Kayla from work. You know what? I'll stream tomorrow. I'll stream it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I should
I'm
put up a poll in the chat about the number of people that believe this is going to happen.
We're gonna stream. Now I got to pick up my daughter at 10 o'clock so we can stream. So I can stream a couple hours tomorrow. I could definitely do that. You gonna be there with me, SloMo?
If you know, yes, I will be there.
He said, oh, yes.
I will be there if you're and what the SloMo got going on for the next week.
What does SloMo?
I will be there live with Forte if he ever streams Death Stranding again. That's what I'm. And which, you know, I am playing the role of a hypocrite right now because I kept saying I was going to do another Borderlands stream and finish Borderlands 1, and I haven't done that yet. So I am definitely not a shining example of being a man of their word right now. I'm gonna take care of that though. We're gonna do another Borderlands stream this before the next show. I promise you that. I promise it.
You promise?
It's a guarantee.
You promise? You promise on the United States of America? America.
What?
You promise on the United States of America?
No. This is not promising.
America.
Gregor wants to know, when are you free? For
Who?
today?
Me? What do you want to do?
Yeah, you.
What am I free for?
I don't know.
I mean, you know, both of you are always on the border of streaming, but instead leaving us standing.
Hey, look, I'm not as bad. That's a nice little pun. I'm not as bad as Forte is, though. Okay, I'm not good. I freely admit that with that thing.
Dog, Brian E said this Cyberpunk gameplay clip. I'm assuming Switch 2.
Excuse me, sir?
He said your gameplay looked like Switch 2.
I think Brian needs some glasses.
He said.
How is that possible?
He said, wait, he said, not gonna lie.
Yo, because he also said earlier that the Switch is really impressive. The Switch version is really impressive. Brian
My heart.
What he said, dude, I'm tired. It's 11:30 here. I understand. It's also 11:30 here, and I also can see. Okay, I have eyes. This gameplay, I know I have not played the Switch version yet. I guarantee you, it is not this. It don't look like this. This is what path tracing. This is 4K with path tracing on, and DLSS 4, like on quality mode. Like, nah, fam.
No,
you ain't even getting ray tracing on the Switch, which, I mean, it's still, I'm not saying it looks ugly.
No,
but it don't look like that. It don't look like that.
Not just like us. Hashtag just like us. That was a good one. I told King we need to make that a super chat thing, just like us. Hashtag just like us. That's how PlayStation fans feel. Your games are coming to other platforms, just like us.
Oh man, that's two more dislikes for the like dislike ratio.
Not for us.
Getting up out of here.
We fire, bro. People love us. They love us, bro. What you talking about?
Do you look at our dislikes whenever we go in on PlayStation?
I do, and they definitely go up. They definitely
can't
go up.
believe they said that, mother. I'm gonna hit the dislike. I hope they see I'm in the dislike button right now. I'm gonna like it, dislike, I'm gonna do it 3 times just so they know I'm doing it right now. And just like, all right, bro, whatever. Anyway, we're getting up out of here, man. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you play some games. If not, play some games. Do something that to relax. Enjoy your time. Life is precious and short, so go out there, have some fun, and we see you guys next week, man. Hopefully on Thursday night. No other things popping up to make things delay. But Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our usual time. And we're out here, man. Peace.
Peace. That's funny. All SloMo's fault.